Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to look at engineering and technology in the Indian knowledge system. So we will cover it in two main parts. First, we will explore metals and metalworking traditions, including the science and technology heritage of ancient India, mining techniques, metallurgical innovations, the famous iron and steel traditions, the lost wax casting method, and the specialized tools and apparatuses used in these processes. In the second part, we will examine broader applications of engineering in ancient and medieval India, ranging from civil engineering to maritime technology. So let's begin. Engineering in ancient India developed primarily from practical, need-based innovation rather than purely theoretical pursuits. This approach led to sophisticated technological solutions grounded in real-world applications. Texts like Samrangana Sutradhar, Rasarat Nakara, and Arthashastra provide detailed accounts of tools, materials, and engineering processes. An important aspect to note is that technologies in India weren't isolated disciplines. Metallurgy, for instance, had strong connections to medicine, artistic expression, and architectural development. This integrated approach fostered cross-disciplinary innovation. Another distinguishing characteristic was the emphasis on sustainability, using recyclable materials and working in harmony with natural resources. Principles we are returning to in modern engineering. Knowledge transmission occurred through specialized guilds, formal shastras, and oral traditions, ensuring continuity across generations. Mining was extensively practiced in ancient India using sophisticated shaft and drift techniques. Archaeological evidence from mining belts in Rajasthan, Karnataka, and Jharkhand reveals systematic extraction of gold, silver, copper, iron, and lead. The fire setting method was ingeniously employed to break hard rock formations, heating the rock face with intense fire and then rapidly cooling it with water to create cracks. Traditional mining employed a variety of specialized tools, including chisels, wedges, levers, and pulley systems for ore extraction, alongside well-designed smelting kilns for initial processing. These mining traditions weren't just technical processes, but were often accompanied by rituals and practices that acknowledged the earth as a living entity, an early form of ecological consciousness in resource extraction. Ancient India metallurgical practices demonstrate remarkable technological sophistication. Smelting processes utilize charcoal as fuel in natural draft furnaces, achieving high temperatures necessary for metal extraction. Metallurgists developed advanced techniques in tempering, welding, cold working, and creating specialized alloys for specific applications. Perhaps most notable is the zinc distillation process developed in Zwar, Rajasthan, recognized as the earliest in the world. What's fascinating is that these metallurgists possessed an intuitive understanding of concepts we now formalize as phase transitions, crystallinity, and oxidation reactions, despite lacking modern scientific terminology. The exceptional workmanship is evident in artifacts like intricately designed coins, precisely detailed idols, finely balanced weaponry, and durable temple structures that have withstood centuries of environmental exposure. One of India's most significant metallurgical achievements was the production of wood steel, an early form of high carbon crucible steel that was highly prized globally. This steel was exported to the Middle East, where it became famous as the material for legendary Damascus swords, known for the distinctive water pattern and exceptional cutting edge. The Delhi Iron Pillar stands as remarkable testament to Indian metallurgical knowledge, a 1600-year-old iron monument that shows minimal corrosion despite centuries of exposure to monsoon conditions. Metallurgical analysis reveals a protective phosphorus-rich layer that formed naturally due to its unique composition. Ancient Indian ironsmiths mastered high temperature smelting techniques and forge welding methods, producing iron for tools, weapons, architectural elements, and temple components that demonstrated both durability and precision. The lost wax casting technique, known in Sanskrit as Madhushishta Vidhi, represents one of the most sophisticated metallurgical processing developed in ancient India. This method was used to create bronze idols like the famous Chola Nataraja, as well as intricate jewelry and utilitarian vessels. The process begins with creating a detailed wax model, which is then coated with layers of fine clay to form a mold. When heated, the wax melts and drains out through channels, leaving a hollow cavity into which molten metal is poured. Once cooled and hardened, the clay is broken down to reveal the metal object. What makes this technique remarkable is that it allows for incredibly detailed, one-of-a-kind creations that cannot be mass replicated. This tradition continues today in both tribal communities and classical artistic traditions, representing an unbroken lineage of metallurgical knowledge. The sophisticated metallurgical traditions in India relied on specialized equipment developed over centuries. Bellows, called Gamani in Sanskrit, were essential for regulating airflow into furnaces to achieve and maintain the high temperatures needed for smelting. These were often made from animal hide or wood. Crucibles, known as Kasara Patra, were produced from specific clay compositions that could withstand extreme temperatures without cracking. Metal workers employed an array of tools including tongs, hammers, anvils, and chisels, many of which were highly localized in design, reflecting regional adaptations. The smelting furnaces themselves came in various forms. Pit furnaces dug into the ground, shark furnaces built above ground, and dome-shaped furnaces for specialized applications. What's particularly impressive is how these facilities incorporated environmental design considerations, such as strategic orientation to utilize natural wind drafts for better combustion efficiency. Now, let's begin with the second part of this video. India's engineering traditions are well documented in various literary sources. The Samrangana Sutradhara, composed around the 11th century CE, offers detailed accounts of temple architecture, mechanical devices called yantras, and principles of town planning that incorporated environmental factors. Texts like Manasara and Mayamata comprehensively cover Vastu principles, the traditional Indian system of architecture and design that considers cosmic energy flows and environmental harmony. The Rasaratnakara provides insights into chemical processes, distillation techniques, and metallurgical procedure. The Sushruta Samhita, which we will discuss more later, details surgical tools and medical procedures with engineering precision. These literary records demonstrate remarkable technological depth across multiple domains, revealing a civilization that valued systematic documentation of technical knowledge alongside philosophical and spiritual texts. India's civil engineering achievements are perhaps most visible in its magnificent architectural heritage. Sites like the rock-cut caves and temples of Ajanta and Ellora and the Buddhist stupas at Sanchi demonstrate sophisticated understanding of structural principles. Their construction involved modular design approaches, careful load distribution calculation, and igneous stone interlocking techniques that eliminated the need for mortar in many cases. Stepwell, known as Baghs in Gujarat and Rajasthan, showcase dual engineering brilliance, serving both as water access points and microclimate control systems that provide cool refuge during hot summers. In seismically active Himalayan regions, traditional wooden temples incorporate joinery techniques that provide remarkable earthquake resistance. Throughout these diverse traditions runs a common thread: emphasis on cosmic alignment, mathematical symmetry, and harmonizing function with form, creating structures that serve practical needs while embodying cultural and spiritual significance. Water management represents one of ancient India's most sophisticated engineering domains. Systems include ghats, tanks, bunds, stepwells, and extensive canal networks. These weren't merely utilitarian structures, but integrated engineering solutions that considered aesthetic and social dimensions of water access. Percolation ponds were strategically designed for groundwater recharge, demonstrating an intuitive understanding of hydrological cycles. Regional specializations emerged, such as Kalinga's advanced irrigation systems and Tamil Nadu's Kudimaramathu community-based water management. What's remarkable is how these designs were precisely adjusted for local terrain characteristics, rainfall patterns, and soil permeability factors. Unlike many modern centralized water systems, traditional Indian water management emphasized community ownership and maintenance over purely state controlled infrastructure, a model that modern sustainable development experts are now revisiting. The chemistry of colors and surfaces represents another dimension of India's technological heritage. Natural dyes derived from plants, minerals, and insects, such as indigo for blue, madder root for red, and lac insects for deep crimson, produced vibrant, long lasting colors. Mordants like alum were used as fixing agents in an environmentally sustainable process that predates modern synthetic dyes by millennia. The famous Ajanta cave murals showcase sophisticated understanding of painting technology using lime-based plasters with multiple pigment layers and organic binders for durability. Regional specializations in textile dyeing emerged in places like Kutch, Bengal, and Andhra Pradesh, each developing distinctive color palettes and application techniques. Importantly, painting in Indian tradition served both aesthetic and symbolic functions, as seen in the precise geometry of yantras and the narrative murals of temples, emerging artistic expression with cosmologic significance. Medical engineering represents another remarkable chapter in India's technological history. Sushruta, who lived around 600 BCE, is often called the father of surgery and authored the comprehensive medical treatise Sushruta Samhita. The text describes over 300 surgical procedures, more than 100 specialized instruments, and detailed post-operative care protocols. Sushruta is particularly renowned for pioneering plastic surgery techniques, including rhinoplasty, that is nasal reconstruction, as well as procedures for lithotomy, stone removal, cauterization of wounds, and bone setting. These surgical tools, crafted from iron, stone, and wood, were often designed based on animal mouths and jaws, an early example of biomimetic engineering. What's specially notable is the holistic approach of surgical practice, incorporating principles of hygiene, anesthesia using wine and cannabis preparations, and systematic dissection techniques for anatomical study, all developed millennia before similar practices emerged in other parts of the world. India's extensive coastline and trading networks necessitated advanced maritime technology. Texts like the Yukti Kalpataru provided detailed accounts of hull design and shipbuilding techniques. Archaeological evidence from ports like Lothal in Gujarat, dating to 2500 BCE, reveals sophisticated dry docks and anchorage systems that predate similar facilities in many other civilizations. Indigenous watercraft included catamarans, dugout canoes, and the distinctive stitched ships, where planks were literally sewn together with coir rope rather than using nails, providing both strength and flexibility in rough seas. Navigation relied on sophisticated tools, including early compasses, celestial navigation techniques, and detailed knowledge of seasonal monsoon wind patterns. These maritime technologies enabled Indian merchants to establish extensive trading networks extending to Southeast Asia, East Africa, and the Middle East, forming a crucial component of the maritime Silk Route long before European navigators entered these waters. The concept of Shashtikala, the 64 traditional art forms, represents India's holistic view of technology and craftsmanship. Rather than separating technical knowledge from artistic expression, this system integrated them into a comprehensive educational framework, including carpentry, metallurgy, perfumery, glasswork, sculpture, and textile arts. Texts like the Natya Shastra, Kama Shastra, and various Shilpa Shastras outline these disciplines in detail. What's particularly noteworthy is that these weren't merely aesthetic pursuits. They embodied principles of engineering, chemistry, and mechanics. Textile production involved complex mathematical patterns, and architectural ornamentation required precise geometric calculations. This integrated approach to knowledge shows how traditional Indian education systems resisted rigid boundaries between what we call STEM fields and the arts, a perspective that modern interdisciplinary education is beginning to rediscover now. The status of indigenous science and technology in India underwent significant disruption during the colonial period. Traditional knowledge systems, which had evolved over millennia, faced systematic marginalization. Oral transmission networks were disrupted, many texts were lost or deliberately dismissed as mythology rather than technical knowledge, and indigenous practitioners lost patronage and social standing. Today, we see revival efforts through organizations like INTAC, Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, the Indian Knowledge Systems Division under AICTE, and various heritage-based STEM education initiatives. Some knowledge systems have maintained continuity, passed their principles in architecture and Ayurvedic medicinal practices. For instance, though often in commercialized forms that sometimes diverge from their original contexts. The challenge for contemporary researchers and educators is to integrate indigenous methods with modern scientific frameworks, creating a productive dialogue between traditional wisdom and current technological needs, rather than treating them as disconnected or opposed knowledge systems. As we conclude this video, let's reflect on the remarkable breadth of Indian engineering and technological traditions, from metallurgical innovations like wood steel to surgical instruments, from stepwells to sophisticated shipbuilding techniques. These achievements demonstrate not just technical skill but scientific precision and systematic knowledge development. For us as modern engineers and technologists, there's much to learn from this heritage, not as nostalgic celebration of the past, but as a source of inspiration for addressing contemporary challenges. And that's all for this video. And in the next one, we will continue with some other subject. And if you found this helpful, give it a like, share it to the friends, and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. And I will see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.